Hi, welcome to the video reflection week 2 for SPED class 6033. I'm going to be reading off a script today to try to stay in my time. So here we go. Page 87, Exploring Gender Identity. The things I took from this was to acknowledge my assumptions and to increase my knowledge of gender identity. What would I do if approached by a student and the family was not supportive? I had to really research this and become familiar with our specific Arkansas state laws. I'll have to say I was fairly ignorant of them, even though I take a stance against the current laws or the political situation in our country that people with gender identity and use of pronouns are facing. So first let's cover what the law says. The law says that we need written parental permission to use pronouns. It's not up to the student to decide. That was kind of shocking to me, but not surprising. There is to be no instruction on gender identity before 5th grade, and that the best thing to do in the scenario presented is to refer them to a school counselor who has the legal training to handle the situation. If they are in danger of self-harm or harm from others, then the legal mandating laws apply. So to recap on all of that, I would try to handle the situation with love and support, get the student in touch with the proper resources and professionals, and just be a loving teacher. Part 2, the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act. I was not aware of this either, so I'm really glad we covered it. The main takeaways that I learned in this video and from research after watching the video is that family rejection of a student's gender identity choice is the main cause of teenage homelessness. And when a student becomes displaced, this Assistance Act takes precedence over state or local policy. The law guarantees immediate enrollment, that the student can maintain their school of origin, and that they have self-enrollment rights if they're displaced from their home and parents because of their gender identity choice. The most important thing I learned was that each school in Arkansas has an assigned liaison, and the teacher must make immediate contact between that liaison and the student in order to put this act into place. Tomorrow is my first day on campus, and you better believe I will be finding out who our liaison is on campus. Okay, moving into the act that we investigated. I actually love this use of technology. It kind of reminds me of a dating app for students, so I was kind of iffy at first, but after I watched some of the videos and learned the information from the website, I do think this is something that I would discuss with the professionals at school that I will be working with to see if it's something we might implement. For the advocacy and action, yes, I absolutely will be an advocate because I have not been a teacher yet in a certified special education role. This really hasn't come up for me. It has in my personal life as an advocate for my daughters, their friends, other students that I knew were facing problems, but it wasn't while I was in a professional role. I've attended many IEP meetings for friends, children, and other family members. The 3 takeaways were the use of the sibling relationship in planning a transition plan and how valuable they can be. And also just in general, not just for transition, but that siblings can be significant partners, in that family professional relationship. They're not as emotional perhaps as the parents would be, or as invested, and they can probably give a more clear picture of how they see the student, and I think that would be very helpful for the transition planning. And as a teacher, I love the idea of role-playing meetings ahead of time. I have not ever considered this. I did run through some role playing with my parents, who were both special educators and administrators, when I would go in to advocate for my own children in IEP meetings. So I'm interested to try that role playing as a professional from the other side of the table. And the last question that we had was advocating for a successful preschool to elementary transition from page 178. I checked out those bullet points. How do you advocate? Biggest takeaways from this, because I am not a current teacher, is to document everything, build on the existing partnerships, share resources. That's so important for parents, because I've sat on the other side of the table all the way from the time my kids were in preschool through high school. Please share resources with parents and other teachers if you have them. Brainstorming. What a great idea. Why don't we all do that more, and why can't that fit into the IEP? Once again, I'm not a certified teacher yet. This will be my first year in special education or teaching, and I look forward to implementing some of these things that I've learned through this video reflection.